My name is Betty Torres, and for me, the YWCA provided the assistance and the support that me and my family needed to get to where we are today.
I'm Erin. I'm the housing coordinator here at the YWCA. I work with the women and children every day who we house in our housing program. I met Betty about 10 years ago when we interviewed her for our housing program. She came in and went through her story with us of how she came to the YWCA.
My journey began walking out of Clay County Jail, and I had heard of the YWCA, but I didn't know too much about it. I just knew it was a shelter for women. I called to see if they had room for me and my kids, and I came in, they gave me a tour and assigned me a room, and that's where my journey began.
Betty is very optimistic, enthusiastic, a realist, and very motivated.
And started using drugs, and that's what brought me to the situation I got myself into. Just because I could hide it well from people, I thought, no, I'm not an addict, because I could hide it well from my family. I hid it well from my own kids. And I know a lot of people say, being incarcerated, I'm going to change my life, I'm going to do this, but seeing what I put my kids through, that's what made me say I needed to make a change because of what I put them through.
I think every woman we serve has their own approach on how they handle life, and everyone's going to have their own. This one worked really well for Betty. All right, it's in the past. There's consequences for my actions, but I'm going to address them and we're going to keep moving forward.
I didn't expect anything. I expected to come here, stay in a room, and go job seeking, put my kids into school. What they provided was mind-blowing to me afterwards. When I met Erin, it was when I was qualified, when I was approved for their transitional housing. Then Erin was one of the program coordinators in that. I always remember her being bubbly and smiley and just willing to go the extra mile with me and my family. If there was something that was preventing me from accomplishing it, we worked around it. We were like, we're gonna figure this out, and we did. We figured it out, and there was nothing that would stop me when I had her. She was a good support for me.
Betty, in the foremost of her mind, were her children. So anything she could think of to better her children, she would come to me and ask, how do I get hooked up with this agency or that agency, or here's my concern, I don't know where to turn. And then I would be able to refer her to the appropriate agency.
When I applied for my home through Habitat for Humanity, it was like Erin helped me fill out the paperwork, and she was like, okay, we'll do this. And she was my biggest supporter then. She went with me to my first meeting. She was there with me. She pulled credit reports. We did everything, and she was right there with me. So the steps to get into my home from Habitat started here at the YWCA as well. So we've been in my home for 7 years this March, and I'm still adding to it and doing my own thing. It's home. It's home, and we don't ever have to worry about ever being homeless again. My daughter, who is my oldest, she's 23 years old. She's very proud of the woman I am, and she lets me know it all the time. Yep.
It's an honor that these women enter the shelter in probably one of the hardest times of their lives, and they allow us into their lives and let us walk this journey with them. They don't have to, and there's parts that aren't great to talk about, but they trust us to know that we're here to help them to move forward and continue being and doing amazing things. And that's a true blessing of this job.
Erin! Oh my goodness, Erin!
Betty, I realized after looking through some papers that it was 10 years ago yesterday that Betty moved into our housing program. But now her kids are grown and graduated, and she's doing pretty fantastic.
I know I've told her how much I appreciated everything you guys, that the entire YWCA, you did for me and my family, because if it wasn't for you, I don't know where me and my kids would have ended up.
You did the work.
But you were my cheerleader.